Today on Beaver Town Outdoors, we're talking about future planning. Hello again, friends. Welcome to another edition of Beaver Town Outdoors. I'm John, and I'm out here today in the Woodyard at the beautiful Beaver Town Compound to talk about the Woodyard and the future of the Woodyard. So I've been doing this now for a couple years, both the channel and the firewood business, and over that time we've grown quite a bit. Grown quite a bit for me, running one chainsaw and a little kinetic splitter to what you've seen on many of my videos, to having the processor, a big Woodyard, the Easton made, multiple chainsaws, all that good stuff. And yeah, we've grown quite a bit, but you know, we want to keep that growth happening. And you know, I've been operating out of this portion of our property, fairly close to the house and everything like that. But what you guys have seen is only a small portion of our property, and well, you know, I'm kind of close to as close as you can be here to a neighbor, and I'm sure once I get get my plans fully going, which is you know, when I depart from my full-time job, my full-time career in fire service, planning to do this full-time and really make a go at it. And yeah, so full-time, you know, the neighbors, yeah, you know, neighboring property, they're probably used to me on the weekends doing processing, but you know, when you get to full time doing it all the time, I'm thinking that might get old at some point. So what I plan to do, I mean, we do the compound is not just a small chunk of property. It's not ginormous by any means, you know, we're not hundreds of acres or anything, but we got a fair bit of property, and probably at some point I'm planning to move the Woodyard farther out onto the property. That's not gonna happen tomorrow. We're not gonna be able to do a time lapse here of me in one day moving from here to where I'm gonna show you. But you know, we gotta your plans got to start somewhere. So just kind of take you around. Those of you that might be newer to the channel, haven't seen everything in the Woodyard. You know, over here we've got, you know, we started doing bins. You know, we went away from the stacking. You know, the Woodyard has changed. I think there's a video out there, and I know there's a video out there that I did. Woodyard 2.0, 3.0. This so far is the third iteration of the Woodyard. One time I used to just have the splitter sitting in the barn, and I'd bring it out, you know, when I had some logs or whatever, and I'd cut up some wood and come out here and split it. And then this area here would actually be where I'd stack all the wood and you know, let it dry for the season and use what we move up to the boiler, what we needed to use, and then sell the rest off. But as it grew and sold more wood, you had to change that, so I moved the stacking area way out here, and we stacked up whatever it was. I just stacked it all along here, and still kept splitting and processing over here. That was Woodyard 2.0, and then 3.0 was when we put up the shelters, and put up the first shelter over here, and then added onto it later. Changed to where, switched to the bin system that you see now, and did all our processing here. And then over here where I used to stack wood, that's where, I start putting the logs, putting our stock, putting our materials basically. And then just, the idea is, I got piles here that I can move with the tractor over to the processor, or stack up stuff to be cut and split here, and then with the tractor we move over and dump into the bins. So that's worked out well. Keeps the equipment nice to not just have it sitting out in the weather. It's worked pretty good. But like I said, as you see, I'm getting over here by the bins, and I'm not that far from where people got to put up with the noise, because any of you that pretty much anybody who makes any kind of firewood or does sawmilling or anything forestry related, there's a fair bit of noise involved. And for somebody, that's people get used to neighbors. I mean, I'm not very close to neighbors, but where I'm doing all this stuff is as close to any neighbor as I can, so that might not have been good planning on my part. But we're gonna hopefully at some point fix that, and take advantage of all the property we got way out back here. So we're gonna take a walk, and we're gonna take a look at where I'm thinking of moving things to. Okay, so we're gonna walk down. Now there's a trail that, actually I got a couple trails on the property, but this one leads back to what we call the back pasture. It's a little muddy today, so luckily I got my waterproof boots on. But our property was part of a very large farm at one time, and through the years got divided up, sold off parcels, and ours is a chunk of that. And part of our property involves what used to be their pasture. So got trail back here, and again, you can't really see, but it's pretty waterlogged back here. We've had a lot of rain here in Michigan in the last few weeks. Some of our storms have made the news, and so hey, we're pretty waterlogged. A lot of times this part here, this trail that I'm on, it'll dry itself out eventually. As we stop getting the rain in the summer, the rain tapers off, we get a little more heat and everything. But it's actually really nice back here when we get the trail worked up. Out here we've got a creek that gives you a little crossing here, this bridge, which back in 2020 when the dams failed, this creek obviously overflowed, and it took this bridge out. I'm gonna see if I can find the footage of it overrunning the creek. I'll put it in the video here. And, bridge is gone, very much. Yep, took it out. video here. And yeah, took this out, and this is just like a makeshift bridge. I'm gonna switch modes here and I'll kind of show you. Okay, so here's our little bridge over the creek. You know, it's really nice, especially this time of year when there has been water. You know, we get a nice little flowing bit of water. There's a waterfall over there that's come courtesy of down trees. Beavers, they built up, you know, debris, some of that stuff's built up a dam there, and yeah, so it holds back enough water, gets a nice little waterfall. You get that nice babbling brook sense from it. But yeah, this, and then the creek leads across and down and eventually ends up in Wixom Lake. So, like I said, this has washed out before, washed out during the big floods. You know, and every year if we get a lot of rain, it needs some tidying up. You can see here we've got kind of a hole that's worked its way there. You know, water will find its way if you let it. So, but that comes out. You can kind of see where we come from. The Woodyard's up there. You know, and there's this nice little road. This is pretty much, this ain't obviously a road that vehicles can travel on, but I come back out here with the side by side of the tractor. I try to keep the trails mowed that you know, they're trails that have been here. You know, the old owners cut them years ago, and I've kept them up. It's kind of a nice little walking path, or path to just play around with the ATV. But you can see we've got a lot of area back here, and you know, it's kind of a big clearing in the woods, and obviously, you know, to make firewood dry better, you know, big wide open space is better. You can see here the deer like to play and hang out back here. You can see where they've kind of hung out and bedded down different points, you know, and they have their paths that they cut through. But there's a lot of little scrub brush and stuff back here, but you know, between chainsaw and other things, it wouldn't be too hard to, you know, clear this out. I mean, I got the flail mower, right, and you know, kind of clean up some of this. There's some pine trees that have been growing, actually some really nice looking ones, but you know, nice little area of property here. That's about, our whole property is 15 acres, so there's quite a bit of acreage back here. And it's fairly dry back here. You know, we've got, you know, you got some areas that run off. Eventually everything's trying to run to the creek, and the water cuts its path, you know, from the neighboring properties. But you know, wouldn't take much to get back here. Yeah, see, we got a nice little deep there. Again, it's not like that very long. It's only during the spring do we get it really being this wet back here. This is actually higher ground, similar to what our house is on. But my thought is, you know, clear out all this brush, some of these trees, and you know, cut it down, open this up. You know, we can set up our machines back here, and plenty of places to build bins, put firewood. You know, thinking, you know, property line's way out there. Just line this up. We, you know, can line all the way along here with bins of firewood, and yeah, be nice. So yeah, like I said, just taking a walk around. You know, it's a lot easier to see this time of year. Again, the deer have been very busy hanging out back here. So the people who own the property over there, they use it as a hunting property, and I've let some friends of mine hunt back here. But I think the deer try to hang out on our property because I don't hunt myself. Have no issues with anybody who does. Like I said, I've let people hunt back here. But definitely some some good area here. Just gonna do a lap around, take a look and see how much of this brush we're gonna have to take down. Again, it's kind of easy. It's a lot easier to see this versus when all the grass and everything starts growing up. There's definitely a lot of brush to take out, but I can come out here with a saw and just start mowing it down, sawing the grapple, and just start taking out all this bigger stuff that the flail mower can't chew up. Use the flail mower to take out the rest of it. Just kind of open this up. And I'll just pile up all the brush and burn it. That's usually best plan. Yeah, so, and there's property goes way out here into the creek, and clear all this out. Got a tree branch up here that's come down. Looks like we need to take care of. Couple white pines out here. Looks like one of them lost its top. Wow. Tree's not very old and it still came down. But yeah, as I said, there's a whole lot of space back here, and other than this walking trail, really don't make use of it. But it's far away from everybody, and I think it'll be ideal. But it's going to take time. Another option you have out there is instead of me cutting all this down, since a lot of this is just scrub brush and stuff, would be to I may hire, I've done it before, hire people that do forestry mulching. And they come in with a skid steer and a giant rotating mulcher and just chew all this little scrub brush up. That actually may be one of my best options. Because our flail mower is an amazing piece of equipment, but it can't do everything. At least it doesn't do everything well. So I don't want to break it. But I don't know if you can see. But yeah, there's a nice big clearing back here, and you can kind of see this area starts. This is kind of where the creek starts wrapping up towards us. But lift you up here. The creek's right over there. Nice little ledge there. And even when we had the big floods, this property really, it got wet, but this is higher ground, so it didn't flood. Don't want to have what happened to me, what happened to Joe and his Woodyard. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but this property really did well, even in both of our 100-year floods. So that happened 3 years apart, but I think we'll be all right there. Some chunks of drain tile back here. Again, at some point this was pasture land. I think we can make something really nice out here. You know, we made a loop around. You can see, remember I was telling you, water tries to find its way. It's kind of cut itself a little channel back there. Might have to do some things to, you know, might have to cut a ditch or a few things. You know, might have to cut a ditch or something, you know, just to try to make it a little better, or at least put some drain tile down or fix whatever's here. But yeah, like I said, thinking I can make a really nice woodyard out here. You know, probably log out some of the property over here, you know, over here behind me. Again, cut out this brush and try to get down to the trees. You know, realistically, again, thinking just hiring people with the right equipment, I believe it wouldn't cost too awful much to have somebody come back out here. You know, maybe half a day they could come out here and clear all this out. So, might bring them in, or do some of it. Well, I'll still do some of it myself, but yeah, be nice to really have a go at this. Well, I know this hasn't been one of my more exciting videos. It's exciting to me. It's exciting to me to get to the point to even start talking about, you know, the need to grow and more effectively use our space. But that's what it's all about, right? A lot of this channel has been about showing you my growth. You know, you guys have been along. Not everybody, you know, I've gotten a lot of new subscribers over the last couple years, but you know, I'd really appreciate it if some of you guys would go back to some of my older videos and kind of look at where this started and where we've come so far. May even make a little video, go back to some of that old content and kind of make a from then to now video. So anyway, like I said, that's kind of the plan. That's my goal anyway, is to move the woodyard out there, and you know, it'll be really nice, and have the side benefit of, you know, opening the side yard back up for use for other things. You know, once upon a time that was where our garden was. Could even you know, make a new garden out there or something, make it really cool. So that's gonna do it for me today, guys. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, please like and subscribe. Feel free to share. But until next time, from all of us here at the beautiful Beaver Town Compound and Beaver Town Outdoors, take care of each other, be good, stay safe, and I'm out.